Happy Friday, AMG family. What's going on? Hey, wanted to reach out end of the week again. Man, where does the time go, man? Time flies, right? So, man, there's been a lot of hot topics this week, but I wanted to isolate just one in particular that is very, very important. Probably one of the most interesting conversations I had this week. Okay. I was talking to a client and we were discussing how to plan for your insurance needs, right? How to plan for it. So what does that mean? So most people, what I find in my career is people say, okay, well, I've got to take it. Got to get some insurance, check the box. And it's kind of like, I'm supposed to do that. That's what we're supposed to do is get insurance. So I've got insurance. Cool. But I think it needs to go beyond that as far as planning. Now, some people, may go a little further and say, well, I've got this for my funeral. Cool. I'm straight. I'm good. Some people may say only, well, I've got, something to take care of the house in case I pass, my family can pay the house off. Cool. Awesome. All right. These are all great things. These are good. However, I think we need to be a little bit more forward thinking when it comes to planning for insurance, okay, and your life insurance and things that are going to need to be handled when you do pass. All right. So instead of just saying, you know what, I got life insurance, I'm good. Well, for what? Okay. Well, I'm good. One, what does that mean? And then two, whatever you do have, what is it for? Okay, great. So now, do we know or even think that the reason why we got that insurance, will it cover everything that's going to happen at the end of your life? Well, you think so. Okay, well, thinking is not knowing. So let's talk about what we need to know. So let's fast forward and let's think about what's going to happen when you do pass. Let's talk about what you probably need a better name for it, but I've been calling it the death buffet. All right, when you pass, there's a buffet of things that are going to need to be taken care of for your family. Now, it may be a little different per family, but nonetheless, there's going to be a buffet of things that are going to need to be handled, okay? So we all know probably the most common one that's just for everybody. The first thing that's going to happen when you pass is someone's going to have to pay for a funeral. Somebody's getting hit with a bill from a funeral director, crematory, whatever it may be. It costs money. So however you dispose of your remains, there's going to be a cost associated with that. And typically, you're going to need that money within a week, if not a couple of days. If you have a friend and that's in the business, maybe 2 weeks, but they're going to press you hard to get it before they conduct any sort of services. So funeral, final expenses, we know everyone needs that. You may not need mortgage insurance because you have an apartment that you're renting or you're staying with a loved one or whatever. That's fine. But I know everyone's going to get out of here. And when we all get out of here, someone's getting hit with a bill. So that is number one on the buffet. That's item number one. Well, what else is over there? Okay, so if you do have a home, it's like, well, man, if I pass, how's my wife going to pay the house off? How's my husband going to pay the house off? Okay, we need to answer that. Figure that out. So that's two things we need to address. Okay. Then we say, okay, well, what else is on there? Another thing that may be on that list is, okay, well, what about income replacement? How is my spouse going to live and make sure that they can maintain that style of living, that they've been living for years with me? I need to make sure that they're good, that they don't have to sell the house because they can afford the house is paid off prior to the other policy. But the income replacement is going to make sure that they have that income coming in. He's okay, cool. So we need to address that. That's three. Then we say, okay, what's after that? Then you may say, well, something happens to me and I have children. I want to make sure my sister, who's going to take care of the kids, that she has funds to take care of that need with the children. So we want to make sure that's in place, taking care of that, kind of like giving her a lump sum of money to be able to raise your children. All right, something happens to you. So that's possible number four. Number five, what's another one? Well, coming down the pipeline, maybe there's legacy. Maybe you want to leave something to the kids, grandkids. Maybe you want to bless them. Maybe you want to take care of their college education. Maybe you want to help them pay their bills off. Maybe you want to help them, maybe pay for the wedding. I don't know, whatever. You want to leave some legacy money, all right? Then there's other items. Maybe you say, okay, you know what? I don't want to leave any debt behind to my loved ones, my wife, spouse, or whatever, or my kids. I want to make sure that there's zero debt, okay? Zero taxes that I owe. I mean, I owe some taxes. I want to make sure that's paid off. So I'm literally like on 7 things, okay? And that's obviously not everything because every family has something different. But those are some of the common things right there that a person may say, man, I need all that handled. Okay. So when you look forward, you say this 7-ish, 8, 9, whatever things, I'm going to get insurance. How do I take care of that? What do I need to do to take care of those things? Okay. Well, you can say, well, I'm going to get one policy and I take care of all of it. Can, to a degree. It all depends, especially with final expenses touchy. You want a final expense product that's going to come in quickly because funeral directors aren't trying to wait. You want to make sure that money's there available immediately. When you have larger policies with some of these other companies, it's not going to come, the payment's not going to come in a week or two. Okay. It's going to take some weeks, 3, 6, 9 weeks, sometimes even longer, depending on, the cause of death. Okay. So, I want to make sure everyone's encouraged to think forward, plan properly. Don't check the box and say, yeah, I've got insurance, I'm good. Okay, ask yourself, what does I'm good mean? What does that mean to your family? When you say I'm good to them, do they know what that means? Right? So let's be honest with ourselves. So let's plan forward. So for instance, we do that with everything else, right? We always, plan forward. Like if you're going grocery shopping, if you're responsible, right? Sometimes if you go hungry, it's a problem. But if you go to you're going to plan, okay, I want to eat spaghetti. I want to eat this. I want to eat that. So I need to make sure, because when I want to eat, I need to make sure that I'm prepared, to take care of the finances to handle those things that I want in the future. Right? We plan, right? So we got to do the same thing with insurance and making sure that those things are taken care of. So what are those items? You got final expenses. You've got taking care of the mortgage. You can call it mortgage protection or whatever you want. You've got your legacy fund. You've got maybe I need to give some money to my family to take care of my children if I have little ones in the house and something happens to me prematurely. Maybe you need to leave some legacy money. Maybe you have some debt. Maybe you've been wanting to leave some money to your church or to some sort of charity or a friend or family just because you love them and want to bless them, whatever it may be. So we're about 6, 7, 8, 9, items deep in. So we want to make sure that we are prepared and really think forward, come back and say, let me handle this. All right, this policy will handle these 2 things. This policy will handle that 1 thing. And this policy will handle these other 3. Okay, you could do things like that. You can do 1 per. You could do 1 for final expense. I always say separate final expense. Get a final expense, and then you can get other policies or policy to take care of the other items. Okay, let's plan that way. But let's do not do what I said in the beginning of this video and just say, oh, I got a policy, I'm straight. I always believed, man, and I heard this a long time ago, a guy put it to words, I used to say, man, I got to assign, I put an assignment to every dollar. I got to tell every dollar what it's going to do for me, right? And I had one of my guys, he said to me, man, I like that. He said, yep, I have to tell every dollar what it's going to do, every policy what it's going to do. I have to give my policies a job. I said, wow, I like that. He said, I have to give my policies a job. I have you because you're going to do this when I need you. I have you, second policy, because you're going to do this when I need you, et cetera, et cetera. So let's plan like that versus just getting a blanket, checking the box and the feel good. Yeah, I got insurance. And yeah, man, I got a policy that, it's going to take care of the family. Well, what does that mean? Okay, so all right, so let's challenge ourselves. Let's grow together, man. Let's actually be better stewards. Let's put assignments to our policies. We put assignments to things in our budget regarding, what these dollars are going to do for our groceries, what it's going to do for the phone bill, what it's going to do for the insurance, what it's going to do with car insurance, what it's going to do for your, et cetera. Let's make sure that we're doing the same thing with our life insurance. When you get it, put it with an assignment. Tell it what it's going to do for you, all right? And I promise you, the peace of mind that you're going to give yourself and your family, those are the boxes you want to check. Those are the things you want to get excited about, and you will be able to sleep like a baby because man, I am covered, and they are covered. Something happened to me, man, yes, they lost me. However, everything is smooth sailing. They got the resources, they've got the help, and they're not going to be scrambling, and my life or my death will not be a burden. All right. So let's do what we're supposed to do, people. Let's take care of business. All right. Hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next week on the Mondo Money Letter. See ya. Bye.